Hi, my name is Alli Albertson. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm an outreach worker for the Colorado Spirit team through Mental Health Partners. I have a background in case management and outreach work, and I'm here to talk to you all today about the local resources in Boulder and Broomfield County. I'm going to be doing a series of 5 videos, starting with this intro video. Then I'm going to talk about some search websites such as 211 and Psychology Today. And then in my 3rd video, I'm going to talk about some county and state resources and some eligibility related to that. I will then talk about some local nonprofits and the resources that they provide. And then last, I'm going to talk about some legal resources in the community in Boulder and Broomfield County. Some ways people can find resources are through social media and the internet. Sometimes people subscribe to email subscriptions from the county or other local organizations. That can be really helpful for getting updates about resources such as COVID-related things. Things are constantly changing as far as what resources are available and when. So those are the most updated way. That's the most updated way to look at what resources are available. You can also visit your local library. They're not just for checking out books, which is amazing in itself, but librarians are really well versed in the local community and the local resources available. So definitely utilize that resource and see what they have to offer there. They have lots of connections all over the place. Another way you can discover resources is just through word of mouth. I know during COVID, a lot of people were trying to find counselors, therapists, and one thing that really worked for some people was just asking their friend or someone in their community, where can I find a therapist? What's worked for you? And that word of mouth was really effective with trying to find the right counselor. Some other ways you can find resources is through treatment providers or through referrals through other organizations. Lots of therapists like to give referrals and information about resources, case managers, people through the county, and other local organizations as well. And then the last part I want to talk about where people can find resources is through helplines or the 211 Colorado line, which I will be doing my own video about that as well. It's a very useful resource. When getting started for looking for resources, there are a few things to consider. And I like to kind of think of it as the who, what, where, when, and how of the resource. So when you're looking at who the resource is for, that's really important. You have to think about who is eligible for it. Is it the individual? Is it for a family? Is it for a couple? Is it specifically for a child? And are those people eligible for this resource? Determining who exactly is going to receive this resource is very important to distinguish before you even apply. The what is concerning what resource you need. So what is the problem being solved here? Do you need food? Do you need insurance? Do you need some kind of transportation help? This is another really important aspect of looking for a resource, especially when you're using a search website. The where refers to what county you live in. So in these videos, I'm going to cover a lot of Boulder and Broomfield specific resources. So if you live in like Jefferson County or Arapahoe County or something, this might still be relevant, but not all of the resources I'm going to talk about you may be eligible for because you don't live in these counties. So that's something to consider as well. But there are lots of resources in those counties as well, I'm sure you can look at. When refers to when exactly you need the resource. So there are some places that offer resources that are urgent, temporary, or long-term. So you really have to kind of distinguish what your needs are regarding the length of time or the frequency you need the resource. So for instance, there are some utility resources in Colorado where it's seasonal or there's a certain period of time they can help support with this utility financial assistance. So that could be like monthly or during a certain season. There are also programs that can help with rent. However, some resources help just kind of on a monthly basis for a certain amount of time, and others will wait for you to have some kind of eviction letter, and then they'll assist you and give that resource. So kind of discovering when you need the resource and for how long is very important to think about as well. The how when getting started refers to how you're going to get the resource, how you're going to access it. Is it going to be in person? Is it a virtual thing? Is it a drive-through thing? During COVID, there's been a lot of drive-through resources, especially related to food. So that's a really popular resource right now. There's also a lot of virtual stuff going on. And the in-person stuff has gone down a bit, but there's some stuff opening back up. So each organization is going to be different according to how you're going to access the resource. So keep in mind what's possible for you. Accessibility is a limitation when looking for resources. So definitely consider where you live, what area has what resources, and then you can kind of search for those resources accordingly. Another accessibility issue is, for instance, not everyone has a mailbox. A lot of resources can be sent through the mail. So verification forms and updates about your status for a resource will go through the mail often, and not everyone has access to that. So that's something to consider as well. Another limitation is accuracy of the resource. So not everyone is going to get a resource that meets your exact needs. So if you're looking for some kind of food resource for something very specific, you might be able to find resources that are related to food, but it may not meet your exact need at that moment in time. So that's something to consider as well when you're looking for the proper resource for yourself. Another limitation is eligibility. So most resources, especially in the county and state programs, will require verification and certain eligibility standards when you're applying for a resource. So for instance, with Medicaid and lots of other resources, there might be income-specific eligibility, which may mean that you're not eligible for a resource that you might still very much so benefit from. But it just means that you may not be what they're looking for in that specific resource. Lastly, some resources are insufficient. There's a lot of really wonderful resources in Boulder and Broomfield County especially, but just because there's a lot of resources available doesn't mean that it's going to meet every need, and it's not going to be sufficient for every circumstance. So definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at resources as well. All right, so in my next video, I'm going to talk about some search websites. I briefly spoke about 211 in Colorado, which is a really wonderful place to find resources. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit in my next video. At the end of this month, we're also going to have a live stream to kind of go over any questions in the comments or any questions that you might have at the live stream. So please feel free to attend, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about this content or if anything I can clarify for you. All right, thanks so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.